Welcome to NFL World, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob, and we're trying out a new mic, so let's hope that works okay. We know there hasn't been a lot of news as of lately. That's the reason we haven't done a show like this. So, let's begin. The NFL lost a lawsuit about 3 weeks ago. The NFL had lost a lawsuit about 3 weeks ago pertaining to NFL Sunday Ticket. NFL Sunday Ticket, if I actually get the numbers up, I believe costs about $600. But this was taken to court in a a class action lawsuit, I'm sorry. There we go. A class action lawsuit. Yes. So right here, it says, actually, it's cheaper than I thought. It says it's $450, excuse me. But still ridiculously expensive. Well, there was a lawsuit that's been going around for the past 9-10 years, basically saying, look, we cannot, no person who works a 9 to 5 job, an 8 to 5 job can work enough and pay for Sunday ticket. You just can't do it. With the fact of how much food costs, how much normal necessities cost, how can you pay close to $500 for a service that just does football and stuff like that on its own against YouTube TV, which is a separate price? This is what was reported about 7 days ago. It says, according to the damages, the federal jury has ordered the NFL to pay $4.7 billion, $4.7 billion, as they violated antitrust laws in disturbing out-of-market Sunday afternoon games on a premium subscription service. So here's the argument for both sides. The defendant argument, let's just start with the NFL, say it's a premium product. It's a premium product, meaning the example given was if you were a Pittsburgh Steelers fan in Seattle, you're not going to get a lot of those games. So how on earth do you get those games? With this service, you can get those games. That was the idea. That was the whole idea. That if you're a Steelers fan in Seattle, if you had an NFL Sunday ticket, you could watch all the Steelers games, whether they are playing Seattle or not. That was the idea. And it makes sense, it does. The problem was the pricing. It's a premium service, so meaning it's going to be more expensive. Just not like this. No one anticipated this. In fact, when Sunday Ticket was available, ESPN said, "We'll pay for it. We'll take it, and we'll charge $70 for the whole thing." The NFL said, "No, you're not. We are not agreeing to that," because that's what ESPN was willing to do. On top of our Monday Night Football coverage, you'll have NFL Sunday Ticket, Red Zone, everything for $70 more. The NFL said no. Which brings me into the plaintiffs, the people who actually brought the NFL to court over the past 8, 9, 10 years. They said it's too expensive for the working class, and because they went against antitrust laws, Now, I didn't know this was a case or not. I don't think anyone did. I also did not know that if you go with an antitrust law, it's 3 times what you would normally get. I didn't know that. So basically, from the way I can wrap my head around it, the antitrust laws make you have to pay 3 times what you would normally pay, which is very interesting. So really, did the NFL lose $4.7 billion? Yeah. But if you take out the antitrust laws, it was probably closer to like 1.3 or 1.2. My math's a little off today. But the point I'm trying to make is the NFL was expecting to lose more money. We're talking about north of $20 billion, not just $4.7 billion. So there was that. Now, the NFL wrote this out, saying the NFL criticizes the class action ruling, demands reversal, or demands that they're going to appeal it. So don't get it twisted. The NFL won't pay this money. Happy Wednesday to you, Daniel, as well. But the NFL has said that we are appealing this. We are not doing this. We are going and we're going to appeal this. So you're not going to even see a dime of this $4.7 billion. And that's what they'll do. That's how I believe it. They're going to go and appeal again and again and again until they can't appeal anymore. And either they win or the plaintiffs, I should say, run out of money and they can't sue them anymore. That's what will happen. That's what I believe will happen. And that's kind of the way NFL does it. The NFL can push this off for another 5 years and we won't hear a whisper about it. We didn't hear about it for this long. The NFL has lawyers upon lawyers upon lawyers and money upon money. They can do whatever they want and just push it off. Now, I brought this up to your attention today because there was a weird thing that started to go about. Started saying, well, owners who are the richest should be the ones paying. Not how it works. You see, in the order it goes, you have the owner above the commissioner. The commissioner works for the owners. It goes owners, commissioner, coaches, players. That's how it goes. So the commissioner, and they make $4.7 billion, I believe, in a month in the NFL season. You can actually probably put all the salary caps together and get pretty close to that number. So, yes, they're doing very well. This isn't going to cripple them. Let's stop saying the owners have to pay for it. The owners, no independent owner is paying for this. That's not what's happening. All right, now moving to more legal news. 49ers safety Tashaun Gipson Sr. suspended 6 games for PED use. The 49ers safety Gipson has decided he accepts the 6-game suspension. Now, let's explain what happens here. If he didn't accept the suspension, he would have went to an appeals court that the NFL has, that they have a judge that partially works for the NFLPA, partially works for the NFL. And he would go, or he or she would go, listen to Gibson's reasons, listens to the NFL reasons, comes up with a solution. That's how it works. It used to be Goodell, now it's this independent judge. And so what happens would be you would go there and you could lose a couple games on it. So instead of 6 games, it's 4. Could add Depends on what the judge decides to do. But as I'm just working on this here. In the case of Tashaun Gipson, he's decided, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go to the court and potentially try to make sure I don't do this. Now, he says, I do my 13th NFL season. Now, 6 games, very specific games. If I can actually, I want to see the games he misses. So let's go like this. I should have done this before. Here we go. I should have did this before. Anyway. So, in the case of Tashaun Gipson, week 1 is... Oh, hang on. No, that's... Okay, here we go. Week 1 is against the Jets. He misses that game. Week 2 against the Vikings. He misses that game. He misses the game against the Rams, the games against the Patriots in weeks 3 and 4, respectively. A game against the Cardinals and a game against the Seahawks. He is back for the game of Kansas City in week 7 and the Cowboys in week 8. Those are the first 2 games he can participate in. Now, have we seen extended suspensions before? Unlikely, but of course it could happen. Unlikely though, nonetheless. Now, the next suspension we have to talk about is Cam Sutton. Now, I know a lot of you know who Cam Sutton is. You also know what he did. Well, he was signed by the Steelers maybe about a month ago. The NFL was waiting for this suspension to come down. So here we go. Let's go to the regular season. He misses 8 games. It's an 8-game suspension for the called professional misconduct. He went against that policy. That's what he suspended him for. 8 games. So he misses the game against Atlanta, game against Denver, game against the Chargers, game against the Colts in week 4, game against the Cowboys, game against the Raiders, game against the Jets, and then game against the Giants before he is back because in week 10 because they have a bye week 9 against the Commanders. Now, the difference between these 2 organizations and the rest of the organizations in the NFL, they get a player would get suspended like this and may be cut. We don't want the hassle, we'll just cut him. And that's it. And then any team who wants to sign him has to worry about the 8-game suspension. Or the 6-game suspension. The Steelers and Niners are not like that. They're not built that way, which is a good thing. But it's a fair point to be made nonetheless. This was the quote the NFL announced on Monday the league investigated Sutton's domestic violence arrest in March and determined, quote unquote, and quote unquote determined he violated a personal conduct policy, end quote. Now, what does this mean? It means 8 games, can't play, and it means in the case, now there's very specific ruling for what could happen. Was he suspended? I would assume suspended without pay. But I would also ask, is he not able to be in the building for 8 games? And then there's another one, which is he not able to practice before suspension? Depends on how it's worded. We'll have to wait and see on that. Next up, and the final thing, Josh Allen changes his name. Hold on. The Jaguars, Josh Allen. Not Josh Allen in Buffalo. The Jacksonville Jaguars star pass rusher, Josh Allen, has changed his name to Joshua Hines Allen. He legally changed it to honor his maternal family and relatives who worn their surname on their jerseys. And there's a question about this. I thought there would be more. But a lot of people think this is confusing. Before, they thought it was confusing. Now, maybe they have some peace with that, calling him Josh Hines Allen. It's just a thought, but I don't really think it matters, personally. Maybe it matters to him, but to me, it doesn't really matter. Let me grab it here from Yahoo Sports, as I assume they have Hines Allen's quote for why he changed it, besides the maternal family and relatives. I want to go a little deeper on that part. It goes on, part of this, it says, Allen, an elite pass rusher who shared the same name as Buffalo Bills star quarterback, is changing his name. He said he will go by Josh Hines Allen, which honors his family. That will be the name on the back of his jersey going forward, as Hines Allen displayed in a video discussing the name change. Josh Hines Allen said, legacy is forever, and I'm proud to carry the tradition on the back of my jersey, following in the footsteps of my family, who have donned the Hines Allen last name with so much pride and joy. Adding, Hines is a nod to his maternal side of the Hines Allen family. Hines Allen comes from an athletic family that inducted his sister, Misha, I think it's Misha Hines Allen, a forward in the WNBA, Washington State. 2 other sisters, Kyra and Latoya, played basketball at college under the name Hines Allen. His uncle Gregory Hines was a star at Hampton University in the 80s. Was drafted by the Golden State Warriors. It was almost destined for me to follow in their footsteps, Hines Allen said in his video. Allen had the misfortune of sharing the same name as Bills star quarterback, but he had made the reputation for himself as a great player. He was a 7th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, selected by the Jaguars, made a Pro Bowl his rookie year. Last season had 17.5 sacks, made the Pro Bowl. his second Pro Bowl, excuse me. And then this offseason signed a 5-year contract with $141 million. Allen has been a key player for the Jaguars the last 5 seasons, and it matter of the Jacksonville fans now an outdated jersey. The Jaguars, hold on, if I can. It basically says now Jacksonville fans own outdated jerseys, now have to buy a Heinz Allen jersey. For these things, I will say, I don't fully understand why the change is so impossible to have you have to go through the whole court system. Like if you remember the legendary baseball player D. Gordon, when he changed his name to D. Strange Gordon, he had to go legally through the courts to get that changed. Why that matters so much, especially in this case, it's a maternal family. It's his maternal family name. Why does he have to have that legally changed? I don't know. But, I'm happy for him. If that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. You're not going to get any gripe by me. Now, before we go, I want to say this. I understand we haven't done a video in quite some time. Mainly because we're at the point of the year where very little news is going out, but that will change. The reason it will change is because, as I'm looking at my watch right now, it is July 10th. July 10th, we are away. I believe if my names and dates are correct, there's a couple training camps that start next week on Wednesday. So in about a week to 2 weeks' time, training camp starts, the news will start flowing back, and we will have 2 shows a week. But until that time, quite possibly only 1 show a week, just because of the lack of news. Now, if anything does happen, we will bring it to you. But I just want to say thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for sticking with us, knowing that there is very little news and you guys have been there every step of the way. I appreciate you. I love that about you guys. And that's when we get to the NFL season, we'll be in high gear. It's just going to take 2 more weeks. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hebert. Out.